Inside both the PDF reports and the online experiential dashboards, you'll find average interactions per day by industry category and venue classification. In this use case scenario, we're going to look at how to evaluate your sampling rates in an actionable manner. This is actual data from a wine sampling campaign presented in a typical manner with averages by market. So let's focus our attention on the average interactions per market, as this is a metric towards the top of our marketing funnel. Here we see that the rates of consumer engagement were low in New York, but exceptionally low in North Dakota. We know they're low because we can see that they're indexing below the overall average. And so right away, a few questions start to rise. Is the average of 48 engagements per event day a good number to begin with? And can I explain the low numbers in North Dakota, or even New York for that matter, as normal variation, or is there something wrong? And this is where PortMA's industry reports and experiential BI dashboards come in, because they serve as a point of reference. Inside both the PDF reports and the online experiential dashboards, you'll find average interactions per day by industry category and venue classification. And in our hypothetical example here, we see that for the wine industry, field teams performing below average were doing less than 32 engagements per day. Average was 32 to 53 per day, and above average was over 52 per day. Based on an overall 25,000 days of sampling, we see that the overall average is roughly 30 per day. So to start, the answer is yes. We can say that our wine program that's averaging 48 engagements per day is looking pretty good. But what about the lower than average numbers in New York and North Dakota? Well, New York looks fine. With a middle range across our 25,000 strong benchmarks of 32 to 52, New York's 42 engagements per day fit nicely in the middle. However, the same is not the case for North Dakota. At only 28 engagements per day, we're seeing that North Dakota is below average and might be worth taking a look into. So what is going on with North Dakota? Our benchmarks are telling you they're performing below average, so let's take a much closer look. And let's start by extending our analysis a bit by including the average samples distributed per day and the average bottles sold. And when we look at North Dakota's interactions to sample ratios, we see that they're sampling roughly 46% of the consumers they engage. And that's a little low, because when we look overall at the program as a whole, it's closer to 69%. And likewise, they're averaging 2.5 samples per consumer, which is a little high compared to the 1.7 for the program overall. But this additional sampling isn't translating into incremental conversions, as they're averaging 11%, while the program as a whole is seeing an 18% conversion of samples to sales. But their average attendance is low, and now that becomes a little more obvious. Looks like they're making up for it by oversampling. So the idea is to take this deep dive into North Dakota. That idea came from the fact that our benchmarks were saying they were actually underperforming as opposed to natural variation. Because of that, we took a closer look, and the data became actionable for us, and we have the opportunity to make improvements before it's too late.